Here's a picture of some Malabar that I have planted. They were volunteers this year, and we dug them out of the ground and put them in the pot. They seem to be doing well. Over here's a zinnia that we transplanted out of the Swiss chard, and it looks like it could use some water. And here's a morning glory. We got some morning glory coming up. It's climbing up the ladder here, on up, all the way to the ceiling. Yeah, and then we have a little wire that we put in, and it's heading over towards the window, as you can see here. I have one more free bucket to plant things in, and I have the potting mix to go with it. These are my beets, red beets, and to my surprise they germinated more quickly than even the package said. I think it was 6 days or so, and they seem to be doing good. I'm not sure at this point, but I think I'm going to use that new bucket with the soil to plant some more beets. Here's a black-eyed Susan. It finally bloomed. What a beautiful flower. Very intricate. Over there is another black-eyed Susan plant. Let's take a look at that flower. It took a long time to get to this stage because these were all planted by seed. And here's a yellow squash developing. I was going to dig these beans up and put in something else, but I think I'm going to leave them because even though these beans were beat up, and I'm seeing some blooms on them, so I can't. I don't want to dig them up now that they're blooming. And here's some more blooms on the bean plants that I was going to dig up, but decided not to. The squash plants are doing pretty good. Over there's a squash plant. See it? And over here's a younger squash that looks like it's going to develop. The beans here are flowering, and maybe we'll have some more beans, so kind of wake back up again. Here's my climber bean. It's going all the way up. It's got a lot of runners in it, all the way up to the top.
We have 3 cats here in the backyard, 1 mama cat and 2 kittens. I think they are feral and stray. It is so very hot here. So I went ahead and got some cat food, softened it up, and placed 3 trays in here for them to eat in. Also, we provided some water for them. They seem to be doing all right. Here's one of the kittens here feeding. It's very small, maybe about 6 months old. That is, the 2 kittens are very small. Here's Mama Cat, still eating. Here's two of the zinnias in containers. I like to leave this here in bloom. I only cut them when they are about to seed because I like to see them from the window of the office. There are butterflies and a hummingbird that visits these frequently. They're really very nice to look at. In this group of containers, we planted 2 pots of black-eyed Susans, and they are now in bloom. Here's one really perfect black-eyed Susan, very beautiful. And here's another one that is somewhat deformed, but that's okay. I'll probably cut this one because there are still plenty of blooms coming up. What I learned about black-eyed Susans as plants is that they don't do very well being transplanted. I transplanted some of them because I thought that they were crowded in a pot, but those didn't do as well as these that are in the pots. So they don't mind being crowded at all. And they look like a bouquet of flowers. Let's go visit the second pot because those are actually blooming very profusely. So here they are. And I can see a lot of little blooms coming up on these. And here is one that's already fully opened. They look like mini sunflowers. Here's another flower that looks like a little sunflower. Nice bright yellow, but the sun is intense right now because this is July and it is the hottest month of the year for us. So I don't anticipate for them to look very well, and they probably will get burnt after a while, but there are other blooms there coming up. Here's a closer view of the black-eyed Susans, and they actually look like cornflowers, but I like the bright yellow colors of this plant. But there are again a lot of blooms here, so we're anticipating a whole lot more coming up. This is one of the zucchini squashes, and it looks like it's ready to pick. It's big.
Think so?
Yeah, I think so. So you might want to pick this one up. What do you do? Just twist it?
Just twist it.
I use a scissor or knife. Oh, that was quick. Let me see how big that is in comparison to your hand. That's fairly big. Looks pretty good.
Yep.
All right.
It had a bit neck on it. That's why it broke off.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's fine.
If it was straight, it would have just twisted off.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. That will join the rest of the squashes. But first, let it cool down. It's probably kind of warm.
Yeah, it is.
You might want to put it on the counter because I don't want to put it in the refrigerator so warm. I'll warm up the refrigerator. That's very nice. Did you check your beans? Is it doing okay?
Beans are doing good. Haven't got anything to pick yet.
Okay.
They've kind of gone dormant.
That's all right. Okay. Here's the 2 pots of Swiss chard that are mature, and Chip's taking the cover off because these are ready to get picked. We don't want it to get too big because it'll get too tough to eat. But these have large leaves already, and I'm going to pick this. And you cook them just like you would spinach, but I cut them before I put them in the boiling water. And that way it will cooked well. But actually I would say it's just like cooking spinach. But this one's kind of pretty, Chip. It's got those red veins on them.
Red veins, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some yellow ones and regular green ones as well.
Little mix, yeah.
That looks good. That looks good. It's ready to pick. But I probably will pick it this afternoon, Chip.
I wouldn't do it now if I was you.
Yeah, it's kind of hot right now. Here is the cage with the peppers, and we covered it with bridal veil because the leaf cutter bees was doing damage to the leaves of the Anaheim peppers. And let me just show you what the bees did, because they wrap their young, or the larvae of their young, with this. You can see it. They've got cut leaves here, and the leaf cutter bees did this to the peppers. So we caged it, and hopefully they will not be affected anymore. But you'll have to shake the flowers just like you would tomatoes, because the wind normally will do the shaking for you, but the cage and the bridal veil might prevent you from doing that, because the flowers have both the pollen and the fertile stem as well. So you'll have to do the shaking yourself.